right. All right, good evening, everybody. Yeah, my name is John Koppelmeyer. I'm the Executive Director of the Arts Council, and we're appreciative of everybody being here tonight. This has been kind of a wild week for Statesville, as everybody is aware of. You know, we had a kind of a major tragedy happen this week. I think people always remember this week as the week of the big fire. Had 3 buildings downtown that were destroyed in a fire, and so all those business owners, which many of us know, a lot of those folks, thoughts go out to them. But it's also good to get back together and celebrate and enjoy art and music. And tonight specifically, we're going to be listening to some spoken word folks. And if you haven't been here and listened to one of these shows before, these folks are super talented. We have some really talented people in our community who have some things to share and talk about, and they're outstanding. And so really looking forward to that. And then we're going to end the show with actually a couple folks who combine music with their words as well. And so that should be a lot of fun. I want to start by first thanking our sponsors. We have a couple of our patrons in the room tonight, so we're appreciative of them. Having patron sponsors is the way that we can put on the things that we do here. These shows that are free to the public but still have costs associated to them. By having our patrons, it allows us to put these shows on. And I specifically want to lift up the law offices of Dustin McCrary, who's our title sponsor. So we thank them. Yeah. All right, so we're going to get started with someone who's been on this stage before, and we're so glad to have her back. We were talking in the hallway a little bit. She was going to perform in our December show that we ended up having to cancel because of weather, and she had a number of things prepared, and she's ready to go today. And so please welcome Sapphire Sunshine.
Good evening, everybody. I don't know if half the room is asleep. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome. I'm so happy to see everybody here. Great way to start this show. My name is actually Saifa Sunshine, and that is a fact. And I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, me being a talkative person. I think of myself as a conversationalist, and in my conversations, I like to make people think because I'm often like really thinking throughout the conversation. So tonight, I just want to talk to you guys, give you guys some things to think about. Maybe later on, we could chit-chat about what you thought. And the first poem I'm going to give to you guys is called Facts on Facts on Facts. So that's where the whole mix-up of the name thing, because, you know, facts are here, they're there, they're everywhere, everybody's looking for them. We don't really know the truth about anything. We just have to keep looking. So here we go with Facts on Facts on Facts. A matter of fact is a fact that matters. Some people use facts to flatter or batter others. Facts can shatter truths, or what was perceived to be true to you. It's the difference between a poem and a haiku. It's the essence of knowing versus believing, educating versus deceiving, identifying the followers and then the one who's leading. It's all in the matter of what you're reading, what you're eating, what you do, and who's close to you. See, only you can be the author of your book. So take a second look, or a third, smoke an eighth, drink a fifth, investigate the minor falls, and get to know the major lifts. Find the truth of the matter that is you. Locate the facts that you were born into. Stop talking, start digging. We have work to do. So let the facts tell you where to fall in suit. Thank you. Now, once we get all our facts straight and, you know, we get to putting pieces together, we have to be mindful of how we use these pieces and where we put them, how we share them with others. Some people are offended by truths, and some people work very, very hard to hide truths, but regardless, we have to share our message, we have to tell our stories. So I just wanted to remind you all that there is power in the things that you say and how you say them. So this one I offer to you is called The Power of Life and Death. The words you seek are only heard when I speak them. Whether a gift or a curse, I'm careful not to tweak them. So you'll get it. If I said it, I don't regret it. You came to me for truth, and that's all I have. If delivered just right, it might make you laugh. But I'm never trying to be funny. I just know how to catch flies with shit and with honey. Like when folk try to tell lies and manipulate money, I see, hear, feel, and sometimes smell the words coming. But I'll bite my tongue off before I let you call me cunning. I got it honest. Call me stunning or brilliant, or better yet, resilient. I'll tell you what I want you to know, and you'll tell me to give you a show. But this I won't do, because I do me for me, and I will never do me for you. All right, now I got you thinking, got you feeling something, I hope anyways. But that is also another topic I so greatly like to discuss. Feelings and thoughts, like what is going through your mind? Because there's a billion things going through mine, and I want to share it. And if you got time, this is what we're going to do. So I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to tell you what to feel. I just want to let you know that you should just feel what you think. Knowing how to feel. A concept so surreal that most people give up on feeling anything. Because in the world of feelings, nothing is better than everything. So what happens when something happens? That depends on who it's happening to. Some might be sad, maybe enough to cry. For some, it could be a dream come true. And some could be scared straight blue. It's true. What seems good to me might be very bad for you. I find it all quite laughable. The things folk find photographable compared to the things people go to the extremes to hide. I mean, why? When we have the power to decide, what's happening inside you is the essence of you responding to the elements around you. Listen sometimes. You know what you know, just like you don't know what you don't. It comes down to what you will and what you won't. Meditate. Line up what you want with how you want to feel about it. Don't doubt it. Be proud. Shout it. You control the life you live. And all it takes is for you to give the right things, the right attention, not to mention focus. Many things will come to sway you, betray you, take from, and never repay you. Bottom line, none of that matters. Be flattered. You must be important if they're trying to stop you. Don't let them block you. Climb to the top you know you deserve. And when you're ready, you can have it all with one spoken word. And that's it. I like to think, I like to talk, I want to know what you think. But I do have one more because I like to laugh. And in the midst of talking, I like to kind of touch topics that might be a little uncomfortable for some people. This one is a common parenting kind of thing. I have 3 children, 3 sons, 3 boys, yes. But this one I wrote, I kind of dedicated to them and to my faith and the conversations that are kind of tough to have when you're talking about parenting and when you're talking about faith, especially when you mix them together. So this one is called From a Mother to the Father. And I just lost it, but it's here. Jeez. There we go. Lord, have mercy on my soul. My sons cannot find the toilet bowl. They can tie their shoes and count by twos, but they cannot seem to finish their list of to-dos. They get good grades in reading and science and math, but it seems heaven forbid them to take out the trash. Lord, this is why it is you that I ask, which rod should I use so this too shall pass? 'Cause I'm sure Lord finna whoop some. Father, in an effort to do all I can, 'cause I don't understand, and maybe that's your plan, so I stand, head bowed, arms spread, begging you to see fit to give them strength to make their beds, maybe comb their heads, or brush their teeth, maybe change their socks so I don't have to smell their feet. OMG, please. Remind them to feed their pets so I can get some rest from giving them my best while you put me through this test of the throne. Look, I promise, if you can get them to sweep the floor, I will no longer sneak out the back door to play in the grass. No more. For real this time. 'Cause something has got to give. And when I really think about it, these are your kids. So humbly I bow out, 'cause you are the master. And I gratefully appreciate your help on this matter. Amen. Thank you, guys.
All right, one more time for Sunshine. Look at that. All us parents over there, we can connect to that last poem for sure. That was wonderful. All right, I want to share a couple things. The artwork that you see in this room and the next room is from students at Metro College. They no longer have a gallery space at Metro College, so we were able to do a art reception for them and put up art for them here. So if you get a chance, check that out. Our next performer performed for the first time last time, and this guy's a really impressive young man. He is a teacher at Third Creek Middle School, which is, teaching anywhere is challenging. But Third Creek Middle School is a challenging school, and to have folks who are dedicated and committed to being in those schools and working with our kids is impressive, especially when they're as talented as this guy. So please welcome Greg Millsaps.
Thank you, John, for calling me a young man. That's really kind. All right, so I was the in February, I was the guy that did the Silly Love poems. Kind of a change for tonight. The theme is going to be something really lighthearted. I'm going to read two poems. The theme is God. Okay, so, yeah. But first, I want to read a quote by Flannery O'Connor. And if you haven't read Flannery O'Connor, I really encourage you to read her, Southern Gothic novelist. I'm just going to read her quote. Whenever I'm asked why Southern writers particularly have a penchant for writing about freaks, I say it is because we are still able to recognize one. To be able to recognize a freak, you have to have some conception of the whole man. And in the South, the general conception of man is still, in the main, theological. That is a large statement, and it is dangerous to make it, for almost anything you say about Southern belief can be denied in the next breath with equal propriety. But approaching the subject from the standpoint of the writer, I think it is safe to say that while the South is hardly Christ-centered, it is most certainly Christ-haunted. The Southerner, who isn't convinced of it, is very much afraid that he may have been formed in the image and likeness of God. Ghosts can be fierce and instructive. They cast strange shadows, particularly in our literature. In any case, it is when the freak can be sensed as a figure of our essential displacement that he attains some depth in literature. That's Flannery O'Connor from Mystery and Manners, Occasional Prowse. First poem is called God Is. And I'm here to tell you almost everything I know about God. God is an archipelago, a vast, sun-soaked scattering of little jungle islands in a clear coral sea that only the shipwrecked will ever know. God is a murmuration of skylarks, sudden, breathtaking, shape-shifting twists and turns in the sky, which then dissipate into nothingness. God is the waters of the little pond where a depressed postpartum poet goes to drown herself, the cool waters whispering, "I'll take you and keep you forever, my love." God is the guard towers of the concentration camp, saying, "I'm watching. I'm not sure if I'm even keeping score. I love you, but you can only exit through the chimneys." God is the sunken pirate ship in the bottom of the fish tank at the dentist's office. Everybody knows there's no treasure in the hold, and it's only an accessory placed there to add something interesting for the children who come to watch the fish swim around. God is the little wound that never heals, which defies every cure and only oozes and stings enough to remind us it is always there and will never leave. God is the tiny crib never used in a dusty corner of the attic, which is only remembered by never being sold in each year's yard sale. I have issues with God, apparently. Okay, but this next poem, I'm warning you, is the most intense poem I've ever written. And I wish these seats had seat belts, but that's okay. You'll be fine. This is a true story. This is a true story. Okay, deep breath. What happened to you, my almond-eyed one? Lovers we never were. Our few dates, disastrous. Madonna ruined the school dance after the basketball game. Like a virgin, touched for the very first time. Like a virgin, your heartbeat next to mine. Let's go, you said. He doesn't approve of dances. And on another date, we went to see probably the stupidest movie ever made. I kid you not. The Man with One Red Shoe, Steve Martin. One of his worst. But that night, when I took you home, your dad came out to meet me and invited me to church and Sunday dinner. But it was a command, not an invitation. So the next morning, found me in a pew, and in the bright, airy light, I instinctively put my arm around you, something that didn't even happen in the darkened cinema. And you shifted nervously in your pew. Your dad stood looming behind the pulpit, stabbing the air with his finger, gesticulating wildly. He liked to raise holy palms to the ceiling. I don't remember the sermon, but recall, he used the word pornography. Or was the word using him? This countywide crusader against smut. The Citizens for Decency Committee. He was the chairman, for God's sake. Oh, my almond-eyed one. I now see, so many years later, my instincts were clear. At lunch, it started with a question. Son, do you know Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior? I attend Stony Point United Methodist. I didn't ask you where you go to church. Yeah, I think I'm good with Jesus, I stammered. Have you prayed the sinner's prayer? Have you accepted Jesus into your heart? Do you know if you're going to heaven, son? The questions were relenting and seemed designed to prove me a non-believer or a heretic, or even worse, apparently, a Methodist. I doodled in my food and saw your mom had given me a heaping serving, perhaps in a kind-hearted attempt to keep my mouth busy. Her eyes stayed down when he talked. He, the head of the table, master of the house, Lord of their Jesus-infused world. And I swear I saw the crucified one hanging in the air like a ghost, hunched over behind the reverend, whispering my sins in his ear. I know the thoughts and desires you have for my daughter, young man, the pastor thundered like Moses. They're dried into the Kleenexes that you toss under your bed every night. Your semen cries out to me. The sound fills my ears. Repent, for the wrath of God is coming. The righteous judge waits at the gate, the book of life in hand. The air was being stabbed in front of his hot breath, his eyes wild with the passion of my torture. He was there, inflamed beside me, my naked body writhing in fire. He was dipping a towel in cool water and toweling me off and touching me, caressing my white inner thighs. His mouth moved to kiss and lick me. I knew it was the only thing that would stop his words. I exhaled and shuddered, sitting up straight in my seat, sweating, and my hand in open defiance found its way to yours on the table. Your mother never looked up, but saw, yes, she saw, with the eyes such women have, hidden on the top of their heads, accustomed to a clear-seeing blindness. Your little brother excused himself from the table. The Reverend leaned back in his chair, still eyeing me like prey, a napkin in hand, dabbing gravy off his chin like dripped cum. My hand tightened. Then you flipped yours over, interlocking my fingers. It was open warfare, and we all knew. We also knew he would win because he ruled that realm. And after lunch, I excused myself. You followed me to the front door, but not to my car in the driveway. My dad is overprotective, you said, as if the obvious need to be restated for me. But it was the only way you knew how to apologize for Dad. Oh, my little almond-eyed one, wrapped in sweet innocence. And it came crashing down when your father went in the garage behind the house and danced on the end of a rope, still wearing his tie, though loosened, the shirt collar open. Why did he take off his shoes and so gingerly place them to the side? Did he think he was stepping through to holy ground in the sweet by and by? I never saw you again after that, but now I understand. The years have taught me. In the beginning was the wound, and the wound was with Dad, and the wound was Dad, and the wound left his flesh and made his dwelling among us. The crucified one now dances and hangs in the air like a ghost. Thank you.
Yeah, Greg, that was definitely different than last month. That was very good. Thank you, Greg. I want to share something we got coming up. May 3rd Just like we have the Mitchell College Art Show here, we do a scholarship art show for Iredell Statesville schools for middle school and high school students. And we have Kiwani is our sponsor of that, which allows us to give out sponsorships to first, second, and third place for both middle school and high school. And the reception for that is going to be May 3rd. And just like what you're hearing tonight, just a lot of young, talented folks in our community, so I encourage you to come out and check that out. All right, our next artist is Sierra Jones, so please welcome her.
Sorry, I'm a little short. How are y'all this evening? I'd say I can see everybody, but I'm kind of blind. But everybody looks great in the meantime. Thank you guys for having me back. Hopefully I've shaken a little nerves since the last time. But if not, I kind of just compacted my poems all into one. I try to not make it too long for you, but hopefully I can inspire or encourage somebody in the same sense as well. This poem is actually an apology to myself. You grow up and you don't really realize that forgiving yourself is such a big part of this life. We're taught to forgive others. We're taught to see and be the bigger person. But we're never taught or shown how to forgive ourselves or what that looks like, or how freeing it is in that process. So this poem, it's called My Apologies. It's an apology to myself. I'm not mad with you. I'm just sad with you. All the things that you had to do, setting and settling was class for you. All the times you were pushed away, dropped off, or cast away, nowhere felt like it was safe. It was just so easy to want to pass away. All the times that you loved when you didn't feel like loving. All the times you forgave even when you weren't forgiven. All the times you said it was okay when you knew they knew better. Your voice was a silent letter, but your light shone on. It was a scarlet letter. You were exposed to depression, money management never a lesson, opportunities were a blessing, but voltage of oppression was sent in honorable fashion, that you will always be lasting, never worth casting. They didn't say you were broken, your spirit needed a casting. But God let you wreck it so you'd avoid the casket, because he's not done, he's Easter and you're the rabbit, so he broke all the habits, shed the entrapments, the devil thought he had you, but that was way back then. Let freedom be happening. The chains keep clashing. The angels are singing. The nurture of the sapling that only craved water, a breath to blossom. God said, here, sit back and just watch them gossip. But don't you worry, my child, I see you. When they left you, they're bleeding. I seen you succeeding, busting through meetings and stereotypical feedings. This society needs you. Let them see you breathing. Forgive yourself, for you were just needing someone to see you as you are, guide you and not be misleading. But don't be afraid. I've sent you help. The discernment in your spirit will be your living will. So climb out of your shell, show them your wrist, love how you do and watch me exist. And please listen and remember this. You are not alone. You are not stressed. You are not angered. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are worthy. You are loved. You are a light. You are important. You were designed perfectly with imperfections and flaws. You were designed with a purpose to break the man-made laws with the image I have given you. Nobody can take that from you but God. Nobody can stop your blessings but God. Nobody can declare your identity but God. Nobody anymore can tell you that you will not be used. In that case, I accept your apology. Because despite what this world can say, in all of the many different ways, you are and will always be his muse. He orders your steps, and that is the truth. So your apology is accepted. Thank you.
Sierra, that was great. Really enjoyed that. It was very good. All right, let me share something else that we've got coming up on May 9th. One of the programs of the Iredell Arts Council is the Full Bloom Film Festival. We actually do a 3-day film festival in downtown Statesville, international films. It's our 7th year of doing it here. This is one of our venues, and it's outstanding. So I encourage you to check that out. It's September 9th through the 11th. But this past year, for the first time, we just started to do a monthly movie series. And so this month, or for the month of May, is going to be a classic Alfred Hitchcock's film, North by Northwest, starring Cary Grant. And a lot of people have told me that he and I are very similar in our looks, so people are laughing. Huh? Okay, well, all right. But I encourage you to come out and check that movie out and enjoy those films with us. All right, so our next performer is one of our board members. Super excited to have her here again, Shani Wasson.
Oh, it is bright up here. All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Oh, that was weak. Okay. There we go. There's some energy. I like that in the back. What's up? All right. So I have a few poems for y'all today. I tried to switch it up from what I usually share in general, because why not share different parts of myself instead of always, the lovey-dovey stuff. So the first poem I have is called What's in a Name. My name is a calling on of ancestral bone. It is a reminder of home, a collection of unlearned memories woven through my DNA. My name is a gift from my mother, a present I did not choose, but recognize its importance anyhow. Some days, my name does not belong with the living, can't conjure up the person I was to shame the person I am back into hiding. My name is weight, fire and forgiveness, the ash of apology notes. My name is a storm of syllables, a hurricane in the mouth of stagnation. Movement becomes me, as I am always learning to grow upright, an enemy of lazy tongues who will twist two sounds into a knot and still birth a word I did not say. My name is holy in its existence, courageous and unique, sings a song of nonconformity and dares you to try to box it in. My name carries my father's memory, precious as stones and water. It creates and questions the jewels in your throat, how to become immeasurable and worthy of a consequence I was born with. So just a few words about that. I wrote that poem today, actually, and I was thinking just on what's important to me. And I was thinking about my name, of course, and how throughout the years I may have let people give me nicknames or mess up my name, and why it's important to always correct someone when they get your name wrong. Because there's power in your name. It's yours for a reason. So that's just me finally learning to take that time to reclaim who I am, who my mother brought into this world. So this next poem is called 5 Again. We're gonna get a little deep here. It's a mental health inspired poem. I'll just leave it at that and you can draw your own conclusions. But it's called 5 Again. I am 5 years old. Lamia watches my every move. This bed is a prison with not enough walls. I peek into the distance and she is with spouse of Hera. They bathe in blood, gazing in awe, a child to feast upon. I am 5 years old. My parents will save me. I am suffused in grace, although the fire is a few feet away. For once it does not burn. I'm 5 again. The moon nestles itself into the southwest axis of my neck. My wide eyes peer into the abyss. The darkness consumes my pupils. Ferocious fiends occupy the space between hallway and safety, but there will be no sleep tonight. Shadows dance elusively to the tunes of voices crafting heavy metal in my head. I tell myself over and over, the whispers are not real, feeling compelled to believe my own lies and manipulate this mental masochism to survive the night, avoid angst in the ambiance to muffle my own cries, and my brain is awake. Screeching membranes halted by hallucinations, this bed becomes safety net or prison cell. The white bars of my headrest keep the demons out. My mother and father only a few feet away, but inches engulf you into light years when fear takes over your heartbeat. These poems have never been a cry for help, just an attempt to make the voices stop. Each time I'm alone or the shadows need company, I'm 5 again. The moon nestles itself into the southwest axis of my neck. My wide eyes peer into the abyss. The darkness consumes my pupils. Ferocious fiends occupy the space between hallway and safety. There will be no sleep tonight. I stay awake counting the flashes. I stay awake afraid of faces. I stay awake afraid of John, the midnight glow of his body and my truth, a pinprick skin, a standing melody of fear, unable to turn my back on John, unable to turn my back on truth, face it head on, a flash of the boy in what life he may have lived or be living under the cover of day. John avoids the light like truth, like what is hidden. John says, I do not own my own mind in its illness. All the calm ran out. John stands next to the bed, my slumber a wingless bat at dawn. All my friends gave up their anchors to fly, but I caved in, stayed with John, became a pillar of salt, the result of unwarranted destruction, and John, a lost smoke signal. His lungs crumble in midair, all the honest parts of our spirit run when we cling to what poisons us, and John became the creaking of bones when I'm stagnant, a silent reminder of age-old torments, and I still hear his footsteps on the days I forget to forgive myself. So the last poem I have for you guys, it's more of what I usually share with the world. A little lighthearted, love poem for you. The first time I heard your name. The first time I heard your name, my world stopped. Long enough to imagine infinity between the syllables, eternity of two lovers evolving beyond the fairy tale. My tongue became an anchor, heavy with the weight of saying the right thing. You were magic in a world of mortals, such a concept that what poisons us can also heal our abandoned skeletons. And on the bad days, I seek solace in your voice, to lay beneath the vibrations and escape the echoes of my mind. And for a moment, I'm lost in space instead of time. On the good days, I seek home in the notes that illuminate your throat, and they wrap me in the warmest embrace, soft as a skin caressing my face, and hands hold me gently, protection from the world that tries to destroy me from the inside out. And when you smiled, my depression-riddled bones no longer felt like home. I'm able to imagine a lifetime where building with you is possible, a love that's truly unstoppable. We float above the clouds, deny the fear of 9, unlimited lives where I'll die twice just to get back to you in the next life. So cover me in your words, eruption of contagious laughter. If you fall down the rabbit hole, I'll follow you after, and whisper my name, and I'll carry the syllables as an offering, martyr myself to your God because loving you is worth the bargaining. And I don't know if I'll ever feel like home in this body, but walls and a roof can't compare to the feeling of kissing you, losing myself in the territory of your mouth, and your tongue, a monument to what is holy and grounded, wrestles with the broken parts of me left in shambles. So sing me your favorite tune, and I'll memorize the verse of you, how the moon is engulfed by your teeth and the sun fails to outshine you, but I have a way of clinging to the beauty of darkness. manipulating metaphors to twist toxicity into tantalizing tones and turn the thorns of pain into a crimson rose. When I discover the courage to walk away, I remember the nights you reached for my body in your sleep and melted into me like you're afraid of being alone in the morning. And yet, most days you smell like whiskey and flowers, drowning the parts of me dying to grow into something more than this aching loneliness crafted in a false love's image. But why don't you appreciate the way I lie for you? The way I lay here and mask the truth of my unhappiness for you? You are still my favorite love note that I can't stop posting everywhere, and it reminds me that on the bad days, I'm still worthy of divinity. And the first day I saw you, I was speechless. Every day after has been spent pulling the courage from my throat, making way for the butterflies to emerge from cocoons covered in your name. And when I hear your name now, my world stops. Long enough to imagine beginnings between the syllables, two lovers who didn't survive the fairy tale but learned to find happiness anyhow. Thank you.
That was very nice, Shanique. Let's give it up for Shani again. All right. I want to let you know about something else coming up. On May 18th is our Artist Spotlight Show, which, again, because of our sponsors, we're able to put on these different shows that highlight, not only tonight the spoken word, but on the Artist Spotlight shows musicians and music. And on the 18th, we're actually going to have the Insomniacs, which we're fortunate to have the executive director sitting here in the front row today, Tevin Carr. And they will be putting on a show. Tevin, what do you say? Hip-hop, DJ, Lego?
Yeah, DJ Lego curated, so it's six local artists from Iredell County, hip-hop and R&B.
Yeah, so definitely want to check that out. Those shows are always great. All right, so our next artist, actually when we started putting this together during the pandemic, trying to get back together and starting to try to do something relevant again, this was the fellow that hooked up with to talk about doing spoken word, and he had a lot of connections and folks to start bringing in here, and he's also a very talented artist himself. So please welcome Sam Fox.
Oh, y'all are beautiful. You're like this blindingly beautiful up here. But I can hear you. It sounds great. I'm going to be doing something a little different tonight. I'm going to read 3 poems by people that are not me. And these people, and I'm doing this because it's National Poetry Month. So I wanted to celebrate other people, not just read for myself. People especially that have really inspired me. One is Ilya Kaminsky. He is a deaf poet from close to Russia. He lived in Odessa, and his book, Dancing in Odessa, I think it's actually Ukraine now, part of Ukraine. And he has a poem that I love called Author's Prayer, and that's the one I wanted to start with tonight. If I speak for the dead, I must leave this animal of my body. I must write the same poem over and over, for an empty page is the white flag of their surrender. If I speak for them, I must walk on the edge of myself. I must live as a blind man who runs through rooms without touching the furniture. Yes, I live. I can cross the streets asking, what year is it? I can dance in my sleep and laugh in front of the mirror. Even sleep is a prayer, Lord. I will praise your madness, and in a language not mine, speak of music that wakes us, music in which we move. For whatever I say is a kind of petition, and even the darkest days must I praise. The next poem I would like to read is from one of my college instructors when I happened to have a different life and was actually working towards an MFA in poetry. And his name is Eduardo C. Corral. One of my favorite poems of his is about a birthmark, and it's just called Watermark. In the dark, only the devil can cast a shadow. Too poor to afford lilies, she walked down the aisle holding a glass of milk. Her left breast is nicknamed Juan, the right Diego. Nightly she catches moths with newspaper cones, hammock skimmer, southern emerald, lungs black with cancer. Her father was buried 2 months before the wedding. Kukukuru, her name a tassel in my mouth. Sukuru, Sukuru. Rain pierced her womb when she was 6 months pregnant. Rain singed the face of her child, the burn marks turning into beauty marks. Beautiful flaw, terrible ornament. I keep a spur under my pillow to ward off nightmares. Too poor to afford lace, she walked down the aisle on a cold afternoon, her breath a veil. She arranges moth wings on a table, reads the wings like tarot cards. 9 of swords, knight of coins. Her mouth waters when she hears a bolero, kukukuru. Her father was buried in pleated pants. Day after day, she folds and folds paper. Alas, Faros, she gave me a pack of cigarettes on my 13th birthday. Often, I put on the gold ring she leaves by the sink. Not cathedrals, but presents. The first man she saw naked was the rain. The dark of her knees, a watermark. Socorro, Socorro. If I dream, I'm cupping her face with my hands. I wake up holding the skull of a wolf. And the last poem I'll read by someone else this is one of my favorite books of all time. And the reason is it's still prevalent today, and it was written over 60 years ago. And I think you'll see why when I read this poem. This is by W.S. Merwin. This book is called The Lice. And this is called For a Coming Extinction. Gray whale, now that we are sending you to the end, that great God, tell him that we who follow you invented forgiveness and forgive nothing. I write as though you could understand, and I could say it. One must always pretend something among the dying. When you have left the seas nodding on their stalks empty of you, tell him that we were made on another day. The bewilderment will diminish like an echo, winding along your inner mountains, unheard by us, and find its way out, leaving behind it the future, dead, and ours. When you will not see again whale calves when you will not see again the whale calves trying the light, consider what you will find in the black garden and its court. The sea cows, the great auks, the gorillas, the irreplaceable hosts ranged countless and foreordaining as stars, our sacrifices. Join your word to theirs. Tell God that it is we who are important. And now I'm going to read maybe 2 more poems of my own. So I just wanted to read some of other people's, and I'm going to read 2 new poems from me. I'm working on a chapbook, and I mentioned tarot cards in an earlier poem. They're poems based on the major arcana, but they're telling stories about each of the person in the card. So this one is called The Fool, which is the very first card in the deck. It's also the very last card in the deck. The Fool. I mistook the world for a ghost story. It scared me nearly to death. There was a road before me, and I took to it barefoot and bedraggled. I know not where I am going, but in the dark there are so many stars, winking and pointing at me, laughing. They pull and hoist me toward them, like a child being lifted up into the arms of his own mother. And then I'll read one more poem, unless you want me to read another short poem. This is just The Lovers. So that's a card in the deck. I think it's number 7. It's called The Lovers. And I think I'll end on this one. When you arrive, I burst into crimson like a sunset never ending. When you sleep, I fold my dreams into swans to leave on your pillow. When you wake, I kiss your eyelids and hear the blossoming of wings. When we make love, I am the moon reflecting something larger than itself. When we argue, I feel the tinge of arsenic in my veins like frost growing. When we kiss, I can feel the minutes of my life coagulate into memories. When you leave, I put your memory, like a ghost, into my pocket. I will carry you with me. I will tell myself your story again and again and again. Thank you.
All right, one time for Sam Fox. That's very good. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate you reminding me about National Poetry Month. That's why we set this up on this month, because it's an art that needs to be appreciated for sure. All right, so our next performer was the first guy that we had do something here when we were trying to come out of the pandemic, and we did some video and had him perform on that, and he's just a super talented young guy, not only as well as just being a super guy, a very caring, loving person. So please welcome Jot Pilgrim.
I've been in the field with it, stuck at a desk gig, but I've been on pilgrimage. See how certain death is, I've been on Gilgamesh. I've been on quests, left in emptiness. But I can't soar, I'm grounded by flesh. This shit don't sit right. They group us up, they tell us sit tight, I'm the equipped type. I brought Stark Tech to the fist fight. I seen dark days, I seen lit nights, broke bread with Israelites. Seen Jezebel so fly by night, damaged by my oversight. I'm tired of preaching. I take the fight right to the demon, American dreaming. What choice do I have? I pledge my allegiance, dealt with my demons. But don't a day go by where I don't think about leaving. Said I'm tired of preaching. Built legacy with egg and semen, and she busy queening. My goddess high priestess, and I'm commanding chief, just fighting for freedoms. We immortal, we show no weakness. Remember I prayed to cirrus clouds, like the universe was peering down. Wish the man upstairs could hear me now. Someday they'll transcribe this transcendence, I know, this transcendence. Remember I prayed to cirrus clouds like the man upstairs was peering down. Wish my Sunday school teacher could hear me now. Someday they'll transcribe this transcendence, I know, this transcendence. I bind up messiness, declare and decree excellence. I was up wrestling, won't quit until my blessing hit. Level up on them, level up on them. I bind up shadow workers, declare and decree your surplus. Level up on them, level up on them. Remember I prayed to cirrus clouds, like the man upstairs was peering down. Wish TDJs could hear me now. Someday they'll transcribe this transcendence, I know, this transcendence. Remember I prayed to cirrus clouds. The universe said save yourself. Been far away chasing wealth. To bring it back, invest in something else. Someday they'll transcribe this transcendence, I know, this transcendence. Hey. How you guys doing? I go by Jot Pilgrim, Kevin Mills. Grateful to be here. Thanks for the invitation. So I wanted to share that one with you guys, just to kind of talk about, right now I'm just like in the thought process, just all over the place. And so normally I come with a theme. I think last time I was here it was love and it was February. So it's gonna be chaotic and sporadic, but and be authentic. See my people out here, people that in general conversation, I'm able to share and be sincere and authentic with them. So it's just a great place to be, and I'm excited. Thanks to the sponsors, all the organizations that are represented tonight. And we're gonna get into some spoken word. Like I said, I'm just all over the place, so bear with me. Okay, and so Sam and John mentioned that it is National Poetry Month. This first poem is near and dear to my heart. I wrote it based on a feeling, and when I wrote it, it reminded me of hymns. And I grew up in a Baptist church, and I remember after the call to worship, they would sing hymns, and it was so reassuring. So I wrote it in the style of a hymn. It was a poem I wrote for my partner in life, and it kind of just embodies that relationship and that feeling. So I just want to share that with y'all tonight. It's called When Darkness Lifts. When trouble doth the sun eclipse, thank God for his eternal gift. Assurance that we shall not quit. With sunshine comes pure bliss. We wept through night as darkest pitch, suffered nigh in twilight's grip. What peace to know he's in the midst. Oh, what a joy when darkness lifts. And when the veil of night is split, to keep his praises on my lips, and in my heart a lovely riff. For dawn has come and shadows drift. Oh, what a joy when darkness lifts. When forces mount, our response be swift, with a soft embrace and calming kiss. Lift back the veil where shadows exist, where sunshine comes pure bliss. When plagued by doubt, our gaze defixed, a hope remains indefinite. For dawn has come so glorious. Oh, what a joy when darkness lifts. right. So I just want to share another one with you guys. So I've been working on a project, and basically the project is root work. And basically what we're talking about is the reflection. You go through things in life, and you grow, and it's times where you take that pause, and you realize that you've been growing from a seed. And so everything that you've learned is part of your root system. And then sometimes, if you're aware, sometimes roots can be compromised. In order to save something growing, they have to go in and do the root work. And so for me, that reflection of root work is me coming up as a young man facing stigmas, and my reflection on that. So this next piece is from my root work project, and it's just called Moral Dilemmas. Lord, when you see me, see more than a sinner. It's a cold world for most, we pose to get through the winter. I ain't no gimmick, I cashed out my winnings. Hasty decisions caught up in all of these moral dilemmas. Sometimes the trauma is all I remember. Struggle to make it, we lacking the tender. My homie's gone, and I won't forget you. They in heaven helping me process these moral dilemmas. I'm numb, pour out some liquor. Swear I'm drowning in rum and all of these moral dilemmas. Sometimes when I rhyme, shit leave me triggered. Don't go chasing waterfalls, just stick to these rivers. See, I got some issues, like most of you people. Curse God and die, you're supposed to be Christian. These moral dilemmas, I pray to Jah, hoping he hear us. Shot up the block, don't know they dropped, just multiple victims. Lord, when you see me, see more than a sinner. It's a cold world for most, but I wrote the score for the winner. See, I ain't no gimmick, I fought for my winnings. Hasty decisions caught up in all of these moral dilemmas. Sometimes the trauma, that's all I remember. We struggle to make it, it's like in the tender. See, my homie's gone, and I won't forget you. They in heaven helping me process these moral dilemmas. I study religion, who pulling the strings, who governs the living, what's good and evil. If nothing's off limit, I struggle to get it. I strayed a long way, fuck random women, got them stoned. Emma, should I take them home? Moral dilemma. I'm socially distant. I silence the critics. I wish that my conscience was Jiminy Cricket. He probably get it. Instead of the judgment I constantly live with. I'm so head on collision. I'm so close to quitting. If shit gon' go different. But I can't play victim. Won't be the only failure I have to live with. Lord, when you see me, see more than a sinner. It's a cold world for most, we pose, and I wrote the score for the winner. I ain't no gimmick, I fought for my winnings. Hasty decisions caught up in all of these moral dilemmas. Sometimes the trauma, that's all I remember. Struggle to make it, but we lacking the tender. My homie's gone, and I won't forget you. They in heaven helping me process these moral dilemmas. Thank you. All righty. All right, guys. And so I'm gonna leave you guys with one more. One of my favorites to perform. And just She said, "You have the charisma for politics." And I felt complimented, flattered by her observation. See, prestige came with government office. You represented the people You did it honorably, but times have changed. She said, I have the charisma for politics, the passion to produce viral hashtags. Who knew winging it could someday land you in the West Wing? No campaigning, just buttons with cute catchphrases. See, I catch hell navigating my own interpersonal turmoil. Then I thought about the countless politicians that claim to be civil servants but only serve their own personal agenda. She said, I have the charisma for politics. How, when I could really care less? I've analyzed this world. I've been a passive, aggressive, optimistic cynic, believing that my beliefs could lead this tribe of millennials out of bondage, out of exodus. We're too good for the promised land, a land of cow pus and bee vomit. We're entitled. We lack love. Occupy hearts. All hearts matter. We don't need another politician. We need a cardiac surgeon with plenty of transplant experience and steady hands, because there are refrigeration units where our hearts used to be. And we become too concerned about what's in it for me. Ice cold veins pumping antifreeze, eyes glazed over like first frost. I don't care if my state is red or blue. I'm concerned with the fact that my city streets are red with the blood of my people. Human beings slaughtered like the animals we eat, forced to live in cages or amongst their own filth like the animals we eat. Said, I have the charisma for politics. I've been building walls my entire existence. Life's is a bitch, and this is my attempt at grabbing her by the pussy. This is me saying whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, 280 characters. She said, I have the charisma for politics. I, too, struggle with keeping my deepest, darkest perversions from becoming public knowledge. If the skeletons in my closet could talk, they sing odes of kickbacks and extortion. I've wiped an inbox or two. Too much of anything is never good, and I still don't see any need to enforce regulations. Sex, money, power. I've grown insatiable. She says, I have the charisma for politics. I bargain with the opposition, forgetting my platform, forgetting my family, forgetting my faith, scandals caught on tape. I have the charisma for politics. I sold my soul for the popularity vote. Lying by omission, keeping the truth on a need to know basis and without security clearance. Your truth seeks clemency from my truth, and often, so often, appeals are denied. An atrium full of intrusive thoughts. Arguing back and forth, partisan war, the side against and the side for. And somehow, the part of me that says I'm not enough always has the floor, filibustering any impeding progress. I have the charisma for politics. I shut down. I imply my superiority. I don't have an empathetic bone in my body. I can separate a child and their parent, put a border between them, and let the world label them potential brown-skinned criminals. Some father. Don't we all have our prejudices? If anything I said today has been misconstrued as to the opposite effect, I want to apologize for that misconstruction. I do not support a livable wage. Your world is on fire. All actual quotes from actual politicians. And when I'm confronted about my extramarital affair and my cancer-stricken wife, I confidently mention for the record, the infidelity occurred while she was in remission to soften the blow. I tell my women when to speak, what they deserve, and what to do with their reproductive systems. I'm the authority on things not pleasing to God, and I could write a thesis on why same-sex marriage is one of them. Love can't exist in damnation. I must sling my own mother. It was never about respect, only reputation. She said, I have the charisma for politics. But I want to be the furthest thing from a politician. Thank you.
there's some talent right there. Give it up for Jot Pilgrim again. Yeah. All right, I'm going to give one more update on something we got coming up that should be a lot of fun. We are doing our first street concert here at the Arts Council. As we do ticketed shows about once a month, but we're going to do a street concert out on Court Street, so we're going to block Court Street off here. The stage will be right in front of the Arts Council here. It's going to be on May 20th, and we're going to have the band Coletta and Super Yamba Band performing. They're out of New York City. It's an Afro beat band, and it should be a really, really good time. So I encourage folks to come. All right, now we're going to kind of change it up a little bit. You know, the folks in sharing words, it comes in lots of forms and fashions. Jot had some really rhythmic presentation of what he was doing, and we're going to kind of dial that up right now for a minute. And this young man, first time he came, he brought his drums. Next time he came, he brought his keyboard. Next time he came, he had his electric guitar. I don't know what he's ever going to bring up here and play, man. He can play everything. So please welcome D. Rob Robinson.
Boom. Thank you, John. Hey, how y'all doing? Good. Enjoy everybody that's came up here, honestly. I'll raise it down a little bit, make sure everybody can see. My fault. But, yeah. Okay, so the last time I was here, I brought my keys, And one thing I'm learning about poetry is you have to feel free to express yourself in the best way that you can get your point across, right? So last time I played keys a little bit, sung a couple of songs, vented a little bit, and a lot of good stuff came out of that, But I feel like percussion, if you know, it's actually a huge part of poetry. The culture of it and the history of it. 9 out of 10, you can go to a poetry club, you might see somebody with a bongo, you might see a little bass drum, you might see somebody with a flute and one of them big old cellos. And essentially what they're doing is they're telling a story with the instruments and each part of the instrument. So this first piece, keep it short, simple. I'm gonna use these jazz brushes. I'm gonna try to tell us your story, okay? Once upon a time, there was a kid named Dorian. Really, all he really knew is that that was his name. But much like his gift, it was also some music name. He started venturing out with percussion. And he learned a lot. It was more than just something that he saw a lot of his older family members doing. It was a language that they called music. Fell in love with poetry at a young age. Mama used to read, and she used to write, and teach me to read the page. She would say, son, one thing you'll always need to keep in mind is you're a light, and a lot of people don't want to let you shine. But that's okay. Keep your gift with God in due time. You can do a lot right now. Just stick to your arms. Being a young musician can get real life confusing until you come across some other cool cats and then learn how you confuse them. You learn to step out on faith and never lose sight. You learn how to make the drums play songs like Oh Holy Night. You realize one song turned into another song, one song at a time. And when the music stops, it's one of those things where I ask myself, God, where would I be if you didn't give me this ability? Would I still be able to meet the people that I meet? Would I still be able to see the things that I see? Or would I fall short of a lot of your blessings? And would I fall into a lot of things that I hear and see? I've seen a lot of people come, and I've seen a lot of people go. I've seen a lot of new weddings last shorter than the amount of time that they were, boyfriend and girlfriend. The thing about being able to play an instrument is a thing of being able to acknowledge that things are different and take different amounts of time and work. There's a keyboard here. It's not mine. I'm not going to play it, I promise. But there's a keyboard here. On this keyboard, you got C, A, B, all those good chords. But you know what you don't have? You don't have a W. You don't have a U. You don't have a Z. And the main question is always, why? You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I came here tonight with specific intentions of doing something that I haven't done before. And I realized that in my stance of poetry, I'm doing that now. Whether from there, or standing here in the middle of the floor. It's a lot of things that God has enabled me to do, and it's a lot of things that I have yet to do. There are a lot of things that I feel like I am learning now, and there are many things that I feel like someday, somehow, I don't feel like God allows you to have a gift that he won't let you use, but sometimes you do have to sit still until he comes to you and said, now is the time of use. So when I put the mic back, it's not gonna be a lot of words. It's just gonna be a small expression, and then I'll be out of your way.
what a creative young guy. Super talented. Very nice. All right, so this next thing, super excited about. These guys have played here some, and every time they play, Bryce would pull out a rap song, spoken word piece every time. I said, man, that is some good stuff. And didn't realize at the time that he had like a whole career of that 10, 15 years ago, where he was like the master of bringing that out. And so I talked to him about coming up here and performing and really bringing some of that skill that he has and talent, and bringing that to us tonight. So please welcome Bryce Reese with Cody Gallia.
Thank you guys so much. We want to have D-Rob with us. That was so much fun. Can we give one more hand for D-Rob? That was incredible. That's my friend. You know, I kind of want to piggyback off what he was saying, though. Whether it's poetry, whether it's guitar, whether it's drums, whether it's just rhythm, the connections that you make with people through the art is really the whole reason that we do it. That and the fun that we have on stage when we get to do it. But that truly is what it's all about. You know, those connections that you make with other people, whether it's a conversation through music, whether it's a conversation with words or whatever, that's what you carry with you the most. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to mean the most to you when you look back and you think like, oh, I did this or I had that. But the things that meant the most were the conversations that you had and the memories that you had and the moments that you had. So all that being said, we're going to try to have some moments. I used to be a rapper. Well, I'm still a rapper. I'm a retired rapper at the moment. I play guitar and do love songs now, but we're going to rap, and I hope you guys like it. The first one's going to be a little more not as lovey. It's still lovey. It's just not as lovey. And then the second one's going to be really lovey. So again, we hope you like this stuff. I'm what's missing from the game as I'm aiming for your hearts, not the charts or the fame. Said I'm just out there having fun, trying to represent the name. Spread a little light through the darkness of your day, getting paid off my dreams. Money ain't a thing when you compare it to the high that we feel on stage. When you see it come together like your words on a page. Got them breaking down walls, trying to walk this way. Let the doors fly open for the perfect blend. Tonight it's Bryce and the breakbeats, alert your friends. Word of mouth from the south to across the globe. Bring them out and shut them down till it's time to go. Hold the crowd like the mic in the pop on my hand. Got them waving left to right when we start to jam. Now when I say I love, y'all say titties. It's Bryce and your boy gets busy. Still dropping that real shit. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. Representing art, entertainment. Dropping that rip, real shit. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. I put my heart and soul into music, hoping you can use it as a way to escape. Embrace what life brings to the joys and pain and put it all on the page in hopes that you can relate. You can take what I've learned and apply it to yours, so in turn, you won't have the same things occur. From the turd to enlightened, from the facts I write, shows the power of a thought. See, I don't think I'm right. See, I know no matter what comes my way, from my ups and my downs to my shades of gray, from my highs and my lows, one thing remains. I'ma always do me despite things they say. Let them say what they want. If they speak my name, it only means I got them talking and I'm on my game. Started building my dream, now I'm almost there and still dropping that real shit, so get prepared. Come on. Still dropping that real-ish. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. Representing art entertainment. Dropping that real shit. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. Take my shoes off, the L is lit. What the fuck y'all gonna say that can top my shit? I'm a hip-hop hero with veto power. Got them crazy like CeeLo till they lips go sour. Tongue-tied and twisted, now speechless. My summer jam got them leaning in the bleachers. Who won a contest? I don't think so. Think not, look ahead, I don't think slow. I'm prophetic in the foresight. They gonna hate for they even hear my chorus right. Like the source only give me one mic, but with one mic I keep moving forward in life. Let's rewind to my first rhyme that had y'all gasp when I told these little cowards to sit down. I rip a page out they rhyme book, wipe my ass and laugh like damn, y'all on some shit now. Still dropping that real shit. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. Representing art entertainment. Dropping that real shit. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. Cody Gillian, ladies and gentlemen. Still dropping that real shit. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. Representing art entertainment. Dropping that real shit. I put my heart and soul in the music. Said I live it how I spit it. And represent art entertainment. Thank you guys so very much. If you like that song, you can find it on iTunes. Bryce, I think the name of the album is Almost There. I think it's song number 2. I could be wrong. But you should try to find it. I think it's kind of good. And I changed the third verse just because I like that third verse so much. So that's actually off a different song. But that's the beauty of it. You just make it work. All right, so this one's got to be more love. So the name of the song is called Love. Through every hardship, through every tear, through every broken heart, someone starts to see it clear. So I put it in your ear so you learn from my mistakes and avoid the wrong steps I take. For heaven's sake, I know I've done things that I can't take back, but I can make sure I don't behave like that. And I can encourage you to try and do the same. Let your conscience be your guide and let go of your pain. We like to do things for spite cause we want others to hurt. That's not love, that's just being a jerk. The first thing that we gotta overcome some is the pride in ourselves. Too quick to get defensive when we're really looking for help. We can't let them see us stall, cause they'll think that we're weak. When the bigger fool stands too afraid to speak. That's why my life's an open book for the world to read. Just a collection of my thoughts and dreams. I'm like L, learn from the thoughts that I'm thinking, and O, opportunity to teach what I'm speaking through V. Verses that come from the heart, E, MCs that rep that art. One more time like L, learn from the thoughts that I'm thinking, and O, opportunity to teach what I'm speaking through V. Verses that come from the heart, E, MCs that rep that art. I screwed a lot of things up from acting hasty. My attitude was poor, I didn't care if others hate me. Always did what I wanted, didn't care who I hurt. I only cared about myself, and then to make things worse, I saw those I cared about turn their back and leave. Like, hey, that's your loss, cause I'ma always do me. But I was too blind to see, I was trapped in the hype. Things happened so fast, life changed overnight. Said I was feeling big time, though no deal was signed. Still you couldn't tell me jack, I was flying so high. Other guys would be like, hey B, let's do another track. Reply, okay, but now you gotta pay me for that. I lost my love for the music, the reason I did it. Along with half of what I own, I'm man enough to admit it. Sometimes you gotta lose it all to truly find yourself. Before you do, we're just trying to help. It's like L, learn from the thoughts that I'm thinking, and O, opportunity to teach what I'm speaking through V. Verses that come from the heart, E, MCs that rep that art. One more time like L, learn from the thoughts that I'm thinking, and O, opportunity to teach what I'm speaking through V. Verses that come from the heart, E, MCs that rep that art. No matter what it is that you're facing, just know you're not alone. Stand strong and be patient. Pick up your phone and call a family or a friend and tell them about your problem. Maybe they can fill you in on some really good advice, or at least make you laugh so you forget for a minute. Now tell me, aren't you glad you didn't keep it to yourself and do something you regret? Feels good to get it off of our chest. We walk around and let stress weigh us down, cause we forget who we are. If we don't learn from where we've been, then we'll repeat it tomorrow. When every day brings a new day to prove to ourselves. If we focus on the love, the rest takes care of itself. So if we all play a part and we all lend a hand, then we never have to watch ourselves go through it again. So love who you are, love everyone you meet, and together we can live in peace. It's like L, learn from the thoughts that I'm thinking, and O, opportunity to teach what I'm speaking through V. Verses that come from the heart, E, MCs that rep that art. One more time like L, learn from the thoughts that I'm thinking, and O, opportunity to teach what I'm speaking through V. Verses that come from the heart, E, MCs that rep that art. Thank you guys so very much. That is my good friend D-Rob. That is my brother from another mother, the one and only chairman of the boards, Coda Gilliam. My name is Bryce Reese. Thank you so very much.